Watching Gravitas, I'm Molly Gambhir. Let's get started. It's been a deadly night of escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war with far-reaching implications. 17 dead, over 50 injured in just 24 hours. Ukraine has also made an explosive claim. North Korean missile unit deploys in Russia for the war. What are the implications? What will greater cooperation between Russia and North Korea mean for Ukraine and the battlefield? What lies ahead? Decoding what's happening behind the scenes and on the battlefield in just a bit. Also on the show for you tonight, as America runs out of stockpiles, it's also running out of options and patience. Where do things stand as far as the Iran situation is concerned? We decode that for you. Is Colombo emerging as a gateway for Chinese mafia? We get you a special report and all that you need to know. Is the Indian government mulling a fee on UPI payments? We break it down for you. A special report coming up on the gender gap persisting in India's organ transplants system. Why has the Tamil Nadu budget triggered a huge debate over freebies and welfare? And what is in the budget? We tell you. All this and a lot more coming up. It has been yet another deadly night of escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war, as the battlefield witnesses volatile attacks, leaving several dead and injured in just a span of 24 hours. Ukraine also has made an explosive claim. North Korean missile unit deploying in Russia for the Ukraine war, according to Kiev. What are the implications? What's happening behind the scenes? What's brewing? And what is the strategy looking like on the two sides? Is Putin trying to exploit Ukraine's weaknesses, and what are they? And why North Korean missile units in the first place? To answer that, we have to first look at the context. And before that, have a quick look at what things have been looking like at the battlefield. Russia fired dozens of ballistic missiles at Kiev and the surrounding region, killing at least 17 people, destroying warehouses and logistics centers of major retailers, according to Ukrainian officials, in fact. Multiple explosions ripped through the area during the night, and fires lit up the dark skies over the Ukrainian capital, which has come under missile attack every few days in recent weeks as Russia escalates its air war. In fact, Russia has said that it struck 7 logistics centers in Kiev and the surrounding region overnight, used to, according to it, store or distribute dual-use goods and drone components, and that its forces had hit 3 cargo ships in the Black Sea. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones have attacked at least 20 warehouses belonging to Russia's biggest e-commerce retailer, Wildberries, according to it, since 18 July, destroying a number of them while also continuing to strike Russian oil refineries. Kiev says it is bringing the war home to ordinary Russians and seeking to raise the cost for Moscow of continuing this conflict. In a major development, the head of a Russian drone factory was reportedly seriously injured and his driver killed when their car was blown up in what appeared to be the latest in a series of targeted attacks linked to the war. In fact, the state news agency TASS cited a source in the emergency services as saying that the head of that company was in intensive care and that medics were fighting for his life. Remember, Russia has blamed Ukraine for a string of previous such cases involving senior military officials and people linked to Moscow's war efforts as well. Ukraine has claimed responsibility for some attacks while denying blame for the others. That's what's happened earlier. Both Russia and Ukraine also deny targeting civilians in the war. As Kiev aims to bring the war back to Russia, Ukraine also hit a logistics hub of the Russian online retailer Wildberries overnight as well, adding to more than a dozen it has claimed to damage recently. Meanwhile, in the midst of these volatile developments, according to a Reuters report, an official at Ukraine's military intelligence agency has said a North Korean missile unit has begun deploying to Western Russia and could be equipped with 120 ballistic missiles and 6 launchers for strikes against Ukraine. The deployment described by the official cited in that report appears to coincide with Russia last week firing its first 2 North Korean missiles at Ukraine since last August. So that's the context here. In fact, Russia has fired scores of North Korean ballistic missiles at Ukraine since late 2023. But the deployment of the North Korean missile forces would be an expansion of the already extensive military cooperation between Russia and North Korea. What are the implications of this? Ballistic missile defense is one of Ukraine's greatest vulnerabilities. So any increase in the quantities of the ballistic missiles they face will pose a greater challenge. A particularly big concern for Ukraine will also be the state of its air defenses when Russia could, in the winter, again target the power grid with heavy attacks. In the latest, in fact, Ukraine's Air Force saying it shot down majority of the drones fired by Russia overnight, but the preliminary data from the Air Force showing it was unable to shoot down any of the missiles. So that's the other challenge here. Kiev can intercept the vast majority of drones, but still relies on supplies from allies to counter missiles. So is Putin trying to make the most of Ukraine running very short on high-end air defenses? Remember, Russia has tried to exploit this by using more ballistic missiles, which are particularly hard to shoot down. In fact, for months now, Ukraine has suffered from a critical shortage of air defense missiles for US Patriot systems, the only weapon in its arsenal capable of actually downing Russia's ballistic missiles, which travel at many times the speed of sound. And since the Iran war broke out as well, Patriots earmarked for Ukraine have reportedly been diverted to the US military and US allies in West Asia. Russia, meanwhile, has intensified its ballistic strikes on Kiev and other Ukrainian cities as it advances on the front line, have also slowed considerably this year. Also, the big question here is why North Korean missile units? What's the story there? And what's in it for Russia? Simply put, it has been pointed out in that Reuters report that North Korea's KN-23 and KN-24 missiles have a greater range and larger payload than Russia's equivalent, but are much less accurate reportedly and have been linked to strikes with high civilian death tolls, according to the Ukrainian military sources in that report. The report saying the use of these missiles fits a pattern. Basically, Russia trying to use more ballistic missiles that can only be stopped by US-made Patriot air defense systems. The report says Russia began firing KN-23 and KN-24 missiles at Ukraine towards the end of 2023. And according to the official in that report, from Ukraine's main Directorate of Intelligence, North Korea supplied 150 of the missiles between the end of 2023 and August 2025, who reportedly also said there were around 9,500 North Korean troops in Russia's Kursk region, which borders Ukraine, but they were not currently directly involved in the military operations against Ukraine. Let's also tell you what Zelenskyy had said just last month. He said the Kremlin wanted North Korea to send another 30,000 troops, he claimed, and that Russian preparations were underway to receive them. Will the latest round of the escalatory developments trigger deadlier consequences than before? What about the peace talks? Trump had promised he could end the war in a matter of days. It's been months, and both sides continue to go down that dangerous path of escalation. For months, Donald Trump promised that more bombs would actually force Iran to bend. Instead, the war has become a deadlier, longer, costlier, and more complicated effort. Reports say the United States has burned through much of its stockpile of long-range precision missiles. And just as the questions grow over America's military readiness, Trump says a major announcement on Iran could come within 48 hours. Has military pressure, after all, reached its limit, is the question. And is diplomacy now becoming the only realistic option? Our next report decoding that for you.
We just hit them very hard. And I say we hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20. We'll be hitting them very hard.
Wars are not won by speeches. They are won by strategy and by ammunition. For months, the United States has pounded Iranian targets with waves of precision strikes. Tomahawk cruise missiles, ATACMS, precision strike missiles. The objective was clear: increase military pressure, force Tehran back to the negotiating table. But now the battlefield is raising uncomfortable questions. According to Reuters, the United States has used virtually all of its stockpile of long-range precision missiles during the Iran war, including major reductions in ATACMS, precision strike missiles, and roughly half of the Navy's Tomahawk inventory. Officials insist the US military remains capable, but acknowledge mounting pressure on key munitions. That matters because these are not ordinary weapons. They are among America's most advanced precision strike systems. Replacing them takes months, sometimes years. Despite months of bombardment, Iran has continued to launch missiles and drones at US positions, and has repeatedly insisted it will not bow to military pressure or negotiate under coercion. The war has also come at a cost for Washington. 18 American troops have been killed and 624 wounded in Iranian attacks during the conflict, underscoring that the fighting has carried real consequences for the world's most powerful military. Now, Trump's tone appears to be shifting. After weeks of threatening tougher strikes, he says the world will know within 48 hours whether there will be a breakthrough on Iran.
Looks like it's going to be a long night.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. That's what I heard. That's surprising. We're moving along very nicely. We'll find out. We'll know in 48 hours.
Trump's statement boosted stock markets. Oil prices dropped amidst hopes that the Hormuz Strait will open. It has also fueled speculation that Washington is looking for an off-ramp before military costs rise even further. The Pentagon says the United States still has more than enough firepower to defend itself and meet its global commitments. But defense analysts warn that rebuilding precision missile stockpiles after months of high-intensity combat will not happen overnight. The bigger lesson may be this: military power can destroy targets. It cannot always deliver political outcomes. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Even as Pakistan has been trying to project itself as a mediator, it continues to go to countries with a begging bowl to try and address its economic crisis. For example, it recently approached the US for a $10 billion exchange stabilization facility. Now, a top former official in Pakistan has pinned the blame for its economic woes on China. Let's break it down for you. Speaking at an event, Pakistan's ex-Federal Board of Revenue chairman claimed that snapping economic ties with China will help boost the country's economy. He said, and I'm quoting, "If there is any person in Pakistan who is against CPEC from day one, it is Shabar Zaidi. I said 25 years ago that it's drama and nothing will come out of it." Let's just go back to 2015. During the Chinese president's visit to Pakistan, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor was launched with a lot of fanfare. This infrastructure project was meant to usher investment worth billions in Pakistan and ensure the construction of a network of roads, railways, energy pipelines as well. Years on, though, this has turned out to be more of a pipe dream, while China gained strategically by enhancing its presence in Pakistan and controlling the strategic Gwadar port in Balochistan. What has Pakistan achieved? The progress of CPEC has slowed down both during Imran Khan's tenure as Prime Minister and thereafter. The data painting a story in itself. According to reports, only 38 out of the 90 projects envisaged under CPEC have been completed so far. While 23 remain under construction, the remaining projects have not even started. Additionally, the last major project to be completed was the Gwadar East Bay Expressway in 2022. In June, the crisis deepened with Pakistan's total central government debt ballooning to a record $290 billion. This is the highest level in the country's history, by the way, indicating mounting fiscal pressure and an acute reliance on borrowing. Now, Pakistan's economic woes also coming at a time when the political turmoil within the country has escalated. A few days ago, Pakistan's Interior Minister made it clear that the current governance structure in Pakistan had collapsed. That's not all. He proposed the creation of more provinces or administrative units to ensure good governance. These comments were immediately endorsed by the Pakistani military, fueling speculation of a potential rift developing between the army chief and the Sharifs. That's because the PMLN has been principally opposed to the creation of new provinces in the past. While Imran Khan's PTI is already up in arms against the ruling dispensation, its ally, the PPP, has also jumped into the fray now, accusing the PMLN of rigging the so-called assembly elections in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The PPP chairman, in fact, warned that the ruling party's countdown had started. Listen to this.
क्या आपको वो आवाज सुनाई दे रही है? जरा गौर से सुने. टिक टॉक आपकी उल्टी गिनती शुरू हो चुकी है.
And while Muni's endgame is far from clear, it's also apparent that the economic and political crisis in Pakistan is only likely to escalate as the hybrid regime unravels. India's free UPI payment ecosystem could be headed for its biggest policy change since its launch. Let's break it down for you, and to what extent will this impact you and your UPI payment usage. The government has basically introduced amendments to the Payment and Settlement Systems Act that would basically allow merchant charges or merchant discount rate on notified digital payment modes in the future. Importantly, the bill does not impose any charge immediately. Instead, it creates the legal framework for the government to introduce MDR at a later stage if it chooses. Officials say no final decision as such has been taken on the timing, the rate, or the categories of transactions that may be covered. According to reports, one proposal under consideration is an MDR of 0.25% to 0.4% on UPI payments above 2,000 rupees made to businesses. While person-to-person transfers would remain free, another proposal reportedly is to determine the charge based on a merchant's annual turnover. with larger businesses bearing the cost, while small merchants continue to enjoy zero MDR transactions. The government is also considering placing a cap on the absolute fee charged per transaction. Unlike consumers, merchants would pay the fee to banks and payment service providers, similar to the existing MDR on debit and credit card payments. The proposal coming as UPI continues to dominate India's digital payments landscape. In July alone, UPI processed 23.7 billion transactions worth nearly 29.9 lakh crore rupees, or over $31 billion. While transactions above 2,000 rupees account for only about 5% of total UPI transactions. They represent nearly 65% of the overall transaction value. Estimates suggest that a limited MDR on high-value merchant payments could generate 5,000 crore to 10,000 crore rupees annually. For now, however, UPI remains free, and any decision to introduce merchant charges will require a separate government notification. With billions of transactions processed every month, the platform is increasingly being used not just in urban centers, but also in smaller towns and rural areas, driven by the rising smartphone penetration and affordable internet access. From small peer-to-peer transfers to large merchant payments, users are relying on the platform for everyday financial needs. The expansion of the QR code-based payments, integration with banks, and the presence of multiple payment apps further strengthening its reach as well. Industry experts say the government initiatives promoting digital payments, along with increasing trust in secure transaction systems, have played a huge role in that growth. And the pandemic-era shift towards contactless payments also had a lasting impact, accelerating the adoption of platforms like UPI. At the same time, regulators continue to focus on enhancing infrastructure and ensuring system resilience to handle the growing volumes. And in terms of the market share among the UPI apps, PhonePe and Google Pay continue to lead the space, accounting for about 3/4 of the total transactions, both in volume and value. Paytm follows as the third largest player, while other apps like Amazon Pay and Bheem hold smaller shares. The continued rise of UPI highlighting India's rapid transition towards a digital-first financial system. New Indian government data has reignited tough questions about gender equity when it comes to India's organ transplant system. In fact, data shows that women continue to donate organs in far greater numbers as compared to men. But when it comes to receiving life-saving transplants, the picture reverses completely. According to data from India's Health Ministry, women made up 68% of all living organ donors in 2025. 68%. More than 11,300 women donated organs as compared to around 5,300 men. Yet, men received 78% of all organ transplants, while women accounted for just 22%. Look at that disparity. And this also raises an uncomfortable question. Why do women in India shoulder most of the donation burden, but at the same time receive so few transplants themselves? According to the Indian government data, kidney transplants remained India's most common procedure last year, accounting for more than 62% of all organ transplants. Liver transplants made up more than 20% in 2025. Even in living kidney donation, women accounted for 71% of donors, while men represented 77% of the recipients. Health experts say kidney and liver donations in India often take place within families, with women frequently donating to husbands or other male relatives. And according to experts, economic dependence, lower access to healthcare, and family decision-making often prevent women from reaching transplant lists in time. That's not all. Experts say deep-rooted social expectations, patriarchal norms often prioritize the health and economic status of male family members. Studies also suggest women display higher willingness to donate, reinforced by socialization or the normalization of bodily sacrifice. Imagine that. Through experiences like pregnancy as well. Medical experts, in fact, point to pregnancy-related immune sensitization and organ size differences, which can actually reduce women's chances of finding compatible organs. The World Health Organization and studies published in medical journals have also linked transplant disparities to lower referral rates for women, delayed diagnosis, and financial barriers. Similar trends have been reported in Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and the United States. India's National Organ and Tissue Transplant Organization has issued an advisory calling for stronger oversight, better training for transplant coordinators, and regular monitoring of gender disparities. In fact, the question also is, will these measures alone be enough to close the gap, or is there a need for a broader shift in the societal attitudes as well? That also remains a huge concern. On to South India. I begin with a quote. Free is perhaps the most expensive word in public policy. That warning from India's chief economic advisor just earlier this week in Chennai, once again bringing India's long-running debate over welfare and freebies in the spotlight. Let's break this down. Just a day after that remark, the Tamil Nadu government on Wednesday presented its budget, announcing a series of welfare measures. What are they? They include schemes under which eligible brides will receive an 8-gram gold coin and a silk sari. Another scheme caters to the TVK government's bold promise of a 1-gram gold ring for every newborn delivered in government hospitals. The overall budget has immediately triggered a political war of words and a lot of reactions. The DMK dismissed it as a recycled version of earlier DMK model schemes rather than a transformative budget. Listen to this.
There is no scheme in this budget to fulfill the promises made during the election campaign. We should thank the finance minister for acknowledging that Tamil Nadu ranks number 1 in many sectors. However, this government has merely pasted the name Vetri, which is also the name of their party, onto existing schemes.
The AIADMK also accused the TVK government of simply renaming existing programs while failing to actually deliver on several election promises. But then beyond this political sparring, there is a much bigger question. Where does welfare end and freebies begin? Tamil Nadu has long been at the center of this massive debate, and for decades, governments across party lines have promised and distributed just about everything from televisions, mixers, grinders, refrigerators, to even cash assistance, gold, other benefits, arguing basically that such schemes improve the lives of people. Over time, these promises, according to experts, have become a defining feature of the state's electoral landscape and increasingly of elections across India, according to them. But the political reality, according to them, is that once a freebie becomes an established welfare measure, no government can easily withdraw it. Because experts say any attempt to roll back such benefits carries a significant electoral cost, leaving successive governments with little choice but to continue or expand them. That debate has become more pertinent because of Tamil Nadu's finances. Earlier this year, Vijay's government released a white paper stating that the state's debt had doubled between 2020 and 2025 to nearly 10 lakh crore rupees. At the same time, revenue growth has weakened. The state's own tax revenue has declined, and Tamil Nadu now carries one of the country's highest revenue deficits, limiting room for fresh investment. So that's the implication here. The Supreme Court and the Election Commission, remember, have also pressed political parties to explain how they will finance manifesto promises without placing the burden on public finances. Just earlier this year, the Supreme Court said freebies culture is hampering India's economic development. And as Tamil Nadu unveiled another welfare-heavy budget, the larger national question also remains unresolved. How should governments balance social welfare and freebies with fiscal responsibility? Onto a gravitas special report. Around the world, thousands of lives have been ruined after being robbed of their hard-earned money by scam compounds. In 2025, for example, scammers defrauded people in the Asia-Pacific region of a staggering 88 billion US dollars. Now, this menace is creeping into Sri Lanka as well, with Colombo emerging as a gateway, it seems, for Chinese mafia. While cyber compounds are usually associated only with countries like Myanmar, Cambodia, Laos, the global Chinese syndicate as such is reportedly trying to expand its operations into Sri Lanka. The gravity of this threat cannot be understated. As per reports, senior police officials have already warned the country's top leadership that Chinese organized crime groups could become a major national security threat if decisive action is not taken immediately. But then what was the trigger for this alarm in the first place? On the 23rd of July, a Chinese national named Hao Pan was found dead under mysterious circumstances. This was in Sri Lanka. And when the probe intensified, investigators found that the deceased person was himself a part of an international Chinese cybercrime syndicate, reportedly. He reportedly wanted to set up cybercrime operations in Sri Lanka. And what added to this intrigue is that he arrived in Sri Lanka 6 months ago, along with his Chinese chef and driver and physiotherapist, each of whom reportedly received a monthly salary of 3,000 US dollars each. His Vietnamese girlfriend and her pet dog reportedly also accompanied him. Reports say he escaped from Cambodia after refusing to share cybercrime profits with the Chinese mafia, allegedly. However, he had to pay a heavy price for this. Members of the Chinese mafia reportedly entered the country only to hunt him down, even as he kept changing his address. On the 22nd of July, Hao was kidnapped in Colombo Port City and taken to a remote location. He was repeatedly assaulted by kidnappers allegedly armed with weapons who were trying to access millions of dollars allegedly parked in his Cambodian bank account. Investigators also found that the kidnappers avoided using mobile phones and relied entirely on walkie-talkies to try and avoid detection by the police, reportedly. In an important breakthrough, a police officer photographed 2 members of the kidnapping team after getting suspicious about their behavior. And after House staff members identified them, their photographs were sent to airport authorities in Colombo. Subsequently, 2 suspects were nabbed as the airport's facial recognition system identified them while trying to flee to Singapore via an Air India flight, reportedly. Overall, 8 Chinese channels are suspected to be linked to this kidnapping and murder, allegedly, while 3 have escaped abroad. 3 others are still believed to be hiding in Sri Lanka, according to reports. Sri Lanka sought the assistance of the Chinese embassy in extraditing the 3 suspects who fled overseas. Based on the interrogation of the suspects, the Sri Lankan police uncovered how many Chinese cyber criminals have been using the special economic zone of Colombo Port City as the focal point of their operations. Let's break this down further. According to the police, the criminals first register shell companies within Colombo Port City. While these firms exist only on paper, they enable criminals to obtain visas by falsely presenting themselves as company directors or skilled employees. And this is usually followed by these firms seeking permission to conduct business throughout Sri Lanka. And this practically allows them to establish cybercrime centers in rented buildings and hotels with limited regulatory oversight. The scale of this menace will shock you. As per reports, the police have arrested nearly 1,000 foreign nationals, including citizens of China, Cambodia, Myanmar, Vietnam, over the last few months after raiding 10 cybercrime locations. That's the magnitude of what we are talking about. Sri Lankan authorities have also flagged the economic damage caused to the country because of the growing impact of the large-scale smuggling operations of Chinese cigarettes, mobile phones, and other items. Amid all of this, calls are growing for more effective action against the mafia to ensure relief for those trapped in cybercrime centers and for millions of the vulnerable people around the world. Time now to take a quick look at the global headlines at this hour, taking you around the world in 120 seconds.
Meta Platform's Chief Global Affairs Officer Joel Kaplan apologized to India's Information Technology Minister for briefly restricting a post by Prime Minister Narendra Modi last month. Deposed Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina made a virtual public address today. In her address, Hasina said that she will return to Bangladesh and it does not matter what fate awaits her. Hasina said although she was forced away from her country, she was never separated from her people. Plumes of smoke were seen rising in southern Lebanon after the Israeli military said it had begun targeted strikes in the area in response to a Hezbollah violation. The strikes come a day after the latest round of US-facilitated talks between Israel and Lebanon took place in Rome. According to AP, Abdul El Sayed has won Michigan's Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate, narrowly defeating U.S. Representative Haley Stevens in a victory for the party's progressive wing in a battleground state. A DHL cargo aircraft hit an unknown object as it was climbing away from Leipzig-Halle Airport in eastern Germany, prompting an unscheduled landing in Hanover. German state prosecutors have taken over the investigation of the drone incident after an explosive device was found. Guatemalan authorities issue the country's second highest emergency alert level after a major eruption of Central America's most active volcano, prompting the evacuation of nearby villages.
The closure of the Strait of Hormuz following the Iran crisis reshaped global energy markets. With one of the world's most important oil shipping routes disrupted, crude prices surging above $126 a barrel before remaining elevated through the second quarter. Consumers faced higher fuel energy bills. The world's largest oil companies reported some of their strongest quarterly earnings in years. According to Guardian analysis, 8 major oil companies generated nearly $93 billion in combined profits during the April to June quarter, almost double the level recorded a year earlier. The energy sector has emerged as the biggest earnings winner of the Iran war. Saudi Aramco reported the biggest quarterly profit at $32.69 billion. That's up 44% year on year. ExxonMobil posted $14.5 billion, its highest quarterly profit in 4 years. Chevron earned $12 billion, marking its strongest quarter in 6 years. Shell, meanwhile, reported nearly $10 billion in earnings. BP's profit more than doubled. Total Energies, meanwhile, recorded a 67% jump in earnings. Analysts say the profit surge was basically driven by higher crude prices, stronger refining margins, and increased demand for non-Gulf supplies as buyers looked for alternatives. The gains for oil companies have come as households at the same time have been grappling with rising fuel costs. Petrol prices in the US, for example, have averaged above $4 a gallon, nearly 40% higher than pre-war levels. While UK fuel prices have reached record highs, FactSet data showing the energy sector recorded a massive earnings growth, the strongest of any S&P 500 sector. The record profits have also triggered political scrutiny. US President Donald Trump, remember, accused companies of making too much money from the supply shortage and urged them to lower retail fuel prices. Meanwhile, climate campaigners argue that the industry's windfall highlights the need for greater investment in clean energy and stronger taxes on excess profits. But will that happen? Here's a quick look at what else is lined up for you on the show tonight. For how long can human beings live? The debate over the quest for longevity continues. In fact, researchers have now put the cap at 194 years. We tell you how and why they reached that number. What exactly is the August theory all about? Why is it regarded by many as a make or break month for relationships? We tell you. Our next story is from the United States. The US president's family is making headlines again. According to The Independent, the US president's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., has allegedly paid millions to his ex-fiancée, with whom he split up nearly 1.5 years ago. And quite intriguingly, Trump nominated her as America's envoy to Greece in December 2024 itself. According to The Independent, Trump Jr., who serves as the executive vice president at the Trump Organization, paid her a staggering $7.6 million US. As per the report, this was to buy her out of the waterfront mansion in Florida, allegedly, which they purchased in 2021 for $9.7 million US. On the 25th of July, the warranty deed for this home was reportedly transferred into his name on the 25th of July. This document also reportedly contained her signature along with a stamp from the US Embassy in Greece, where she is now based. Last year, the Palm Beach County estimated the market value of this 6-bedroom house $13.6 million US reportedly. This property comes with an in-ground pool, a lift, 4-car garage, a spa, elevator, among other luxuries reportedly. While they purchased last year. While Trump Jr. married Bettina Anderson early this year itself in a private ceremony, Guilfoyle was previously married to Democratic Party leader Gavin Newsom, who is currently the governor of California. Now, Guilfoyle started off as a lawyer and handled serious felony cases including domestic violence, sexual assault, homicide. In 2000, she was appointed the Assistant District Attorney in San Francisco. Thereafter, she also served as a co-host of a show on Fox News, where she provided legal commentary on multiple issues. Additionally, she formerly served as a senior advisor to the US President. In November last year, she formally assumed charge as the first female US ambassador to Greece.
Now, Kimberly Guilfoyle has been my friend for a long time. I love calling her Kimberly, but you are the greatest, and I heard they love you over there. I hope you come back here in 12 years or whatever the term is.
And while the latest transaction may appear as a mere property deal, some experts have raised a question. Was the ambassador role as well a part of the amicable settlement between the former couple? However, considering Guilfoyle's own political role in the past, this remains a matter of speculation as of now. Shifting focus, the first footsteps on the moon changed history as we know it. And that extraordinary journey began in a house in America's Ohio. Why are we talking about it? The childhood home of Apollo 11 astronaut Neil Armstrong is up for sale, and the future of one of America's most iconic space landmarks remains uncertain. For nearly 4 decades, a retired history teacher has preserved the Ohio home, where Armstrong built model airplanes and nurtured the passion for flight that would eventually take him all the way to the moon. The house, in fact, has hosted US astronauts, including Buzz Aldrin, and features treasured memorabilia like signed photographs celebrating America's space legacy. Listed for $430,000 US. The property has no legal protection from future alterations. Its owner hopes the next buyer will preserve its history by donating the home to the Armstrong Museum.
I love this house. I really do, and I'll always love this house. But it's time to let somebody else have the opportunity to be as blessed with it as I've been, and to take care of it and keep it as a part of history.
Neil Armstrong died in 2012 at the age of 82, but the house where his dream first took flight perhaps remains a powerful symbol of human ambition. Let's now get you some offbeat stories. Science fiction promises eternal life, but new research showing biology has drawn a hard line. Even if we cure every major disease as such, human lifespan has a strict biological limit. According to advanced mathematical modeling, the human body has a hard cap of 194 years. Our next report explores the findings of the latest scientific study.
Imagine a world where every disease is cured, organs are repaired, aging is controlled, the body is kept in perfect shape. Even then, death still arrives. Yes, medical science has made rapid progress. By combining robotics and artificial intelligence, doctors are able to diagnose and heal faster. While modern medicine turns fatal illnesses into long-term survivable lives, conditions like late-stage cancer, Alzheimer's, and major neurodegenerative disorders still lack a permanent biological cure. So, with the future advancements, how long can a human being live? Well, scientists using a mathematical model assumed all reversible hallmarks of aging were eliminated. Only one factor remained: somatic mutations, the random DNA changes that accumulate over time. According to a study conducted by a team at the Skolkovo Institute of Science and Technology in Russia, under those ideal conditions, the model predicted a median human lifespan of 146 to 194 years. The researchers wrote that DNA mutations, especially in non-renewing cells like heart muscle cells and neurons, become the final barrier. These latest findings matter for two reasons. First, it tempers the dream of immortality. Second, it points to where future therapies must aim. If somatic mutations are the final wall, then preventing or repairing those errors becomes the next frontier. It also reframes public debate. Living to 122 is still a record. Pushing beyond 150 would require breakthroughs that go far beyond today's anti-aging treatments. We may live longer, healthier lives. We may stretch the average well past 100. But the study suggests a biological boundary near 194 years. That is not forever. It is a new horizon, and it tells science exactly where to aim next. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
Social media has been buzzing with the new dating trend. It's basically to do with the month of August itself. Modern daters seem to attach a theory to every month of the year. The August theory, as it's being called, is gaining a lot of momentum and traction on social media. It essentially states that August is a make or break month when it comes to relationships. It's either about carefree summer flings turning serious or seemingly reaching their end. It's also about exes from the past reaching out ahead of autumn. For many, the August theory essentially makes this a month of reality checks. As summer vacations come to an end and people return to their hectic daily routines, many wish to trade their high dopamine summer freedom for more stable and grounded relationships and also emotional stability. The trend also pointing to past partners or casual flings seeking comfort or familiarity as the weather cools down. The key factor is that casual situationships now face a hard deadline. They can either normalize or formalize into real relationships or quietly fade away. Interestingly, the August theory comes after the June theory took flight in viral videos. It's a trend that claimed that June brings sudden romantic plot twists, either by sparking a new and intense relationship or by bringing an ex back into your life. But with August, it's now time for a reality check on the new romance of your life, perhaps. Time now to get you one of the most powerful images of the day. For this, we take you to Tibet, where locals continue to embrace their native language, despite China's recent ethnic unity law mandating Mandarin as the primary language for education, government business, public science, legally sidelining native minority languages like Tibetan and Mongolian. Let's also put the spotlight on a big question hanging in the air, the answer to which will determine a lot. Donald Trump hinted the next 48 hours will be crucial to determine the fate of a deal with Iran. With Iran and Oman now in the final stages of preparing a joint announcement on the Hormuz Agreement, reportedly, will it imply a thaw in the West Asia tensions or not? That's the big question. Also, a quick look at three major events expected over the next 24 hours. Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and the Army Chief Asim Munir set to visit Saudi Arabia on Thursday. The trip coming at a time when West Asia is witnessing a flurry of diplomatic activity, with the US and Iran at loggerheads. Two countries in different parts of the world, Jamaica and Bolivia, will celebrate their respective Independence Day. on the same day, that's the 6th of August. Jamaica gained freedom from British colonial rule in 1962, while Bolivia gained independence in 1825, ending Spanish colonial rule. Lebanon and Israel will conclude their latest round of talks facilitated by the US in Rome on Thursday. While both countries agreed to a ceasefire, Israel has continued its strikes inside Lebanon. And on that note, it's a wrap on this edition of Gravitas Tonight. This is me, Molly Gambhir, signing off. Thanks very much for watching. In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible, clear, continuous. Experts across aisles. Diverse voices, one platform. WION World is One.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble. How many lives were destroyed? How many kids were traumatized? How many women lost their families? If this isn't a war crime, then what is?
From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION World is One.
WION, India's global voice. The channel that brings you the biggest stories from across the world through India's lens. Now available in more than 190 countries worldwide. Because we believe that the world is one. Watch us in Africa, Europe, USA and Canada, South America, Asia Pacific, Middle East and North African regions. Also available on these digital platforms across the world. WION, World is One.
In-depth coverage of global issues broken down into facts, figures and simple words. Backed with analysis from field experts who truly matter, because we believe in decoding the real picture for you. So you get a much wider and deeper understanding of stories from around the world, a 360-degree analysis. An award-winning documentary series, week after week creating the maximum impact. Watch WION Wide Angle at these times on WION World is One. Get the latest updates. Breaking news. Credible,